All right, let's just jump right in. What we're unpacking today is a framework so ambitious it's kind of breathtaking. It's called Crippin's theory, and it basically claims that there's a single universal geometric principle of balance that shapes, well, everything. We're talking from the way a galaxy spirals to the very rhythm of your own consciousness. It's a huge swing at trying to create a unified language for science, art, and even empathy.
And this right here, this is the key that unlocks the whole thing. You have to forget everything you think you know about balance being some static, perfect state of rest. No, the source material is adamant. It's a dynamic process. It's a constant dance of adjustment. Think of a tightrope walker, always making those tiny little corrections to stay up there. That's balance. It's that active rhythm that allows completely different things to exist together in harmony.
So to really get a handle on this rhythm, we first need to learn its visual language, and the theory gives us 4 fundamental geometric shapes, or primitives as it calls them, that act as the alphabet, the basic building blocks for this universal pattern.
First up, you've got the triangle. According to the theory, this shape is all about focused attention. It's that initial spark of energy you need to make a decision, to set a clear intention, to point yourself in a direction.
Then we have its polar opposite, the circle. This one represents connection, empathy, and what the theory calls emotional self-regulation. It's the loop, you see, the thing that brings everything back into a state of wholeness and reminds us we're all connected.
And then there's the square. Now, you can probably guess this one. It stands for stability, for structure, for being grounded. Psychologically, the theory links this directly to our executive function, our ability to create systems, set boundaries, and just establish a basic sense of safety.
And finally, we have the spiral. This one is just brilliant. It represents growth, learning, and integration all at once. It's the idea of moving forward while constantly checking in with the past. I mean, what a perfect visual for something like neuroplasticity, right? It's how we learn and adapt over time. Okay, so we have this beautiful visual language. But is that all it is? Just pretty shapes? Not according to this theory. This is where it gets really wild, because it actually tries to turn these geometric ideas into a testable mathematical formula.
And this is it, the Atlas T equation. This is the absolute heart of the entire framework. It says that true balance, which is T, isn't just one thing. It's the product of 3 crucial variables working together: proportion, which is the geometric design; phase, which is all about rhythm and timing; and resonance, which is the sustained, coherent energy of the whole system.
Now, an abstract equation can feel a little cold. So let's make it real. Let's use the analogy of running a marathon. Proportion, or P, that's your ideal stride length, the most efficient, perfect design for your body's movement. Phase, or kappa, that's your pacing, that constant, steady rhythm that keeps you from burning out in the first mile. And finally, resonance, R, is your stable energy output, that sustained flow that keeps your whole system from just collapsing. You get all 3 of those right, you achieve T, a state of perfect, sustainable balance. You finish the race.
And this is where the theory makes its most surprising connection. It draws a line between 2 seemingly unrelated things. On one hand, you have the Fibonacci pattern, the geometry of natural growth you see in a sunflower. On the other, you have the Smith chart, a super complex tool that radio engineers use to get perfect energy transmission and minimize waste. And the theory's big claim is this: the underlying math that stabilizes energy in an antenna is fundamentally the same as the geometry needed to stabilize empathy in a human system. It's all about achieving resonance and getting rid of the friction.
Okay, so let's take that huge idea and scale it all the way down, from engineering to the most complex system we know of, the human mind. The theory literally applies these same geometric principles to map our internal world.
So, remember those 4 shapes we started with? The crucial idea here is that they're not just symbols. The theory presents them as the core functions of our consciousness. The triangle is your focused attention. The circle is your capacity for empathy. The square is your ability to set healthy boundaries. And the spiral is your brain's amazing power to learn and change.
And neurologically, the whole goal is to create harmony between 2 key networks in your brain. You have the default mode network. That's your wandering, daydreaming mind that thinks about the past and future. And then you have the task positive network. That's your focused, problem-solving mind that switches on when you're, say, doing your taxes. The theory suggests that true mental balance, that T state, is what happens when you reduce the noise and the static between these 2, letting them finally work together in sync.
Okay, so we've covered the mind. Now let's scale up again. to the world around us. Because the theory argues that these exact same principles of balance can, and absolutely should, define the way we build our cities and our homes.
I mean, how cool is this? It's such a powerful way to visualize the equation. It takes those three variables and embodies them in three timeless architectural forms. The pyramid, climbing to a single point, that's proportion. The ziggurat, with its stepped, repeating rhythm, that's a perfect symbol for phase. And the dome, which can contain and amplify energy and sound, that's resonance. It's like a chord built from stone. P times kappa times R equals a balanced structure.
And all of this leads to a blueprint for what the theory calls a living ratio city. The whole idea is to design our cities with balance as the fundamental law. Growth would follow natural Fibonacci patterns, circular designs would foster community, but the most important rule, the one that underpins it all, is this. For every single square foot of built surface, of concrete, there must be an equal corresponding surface of living green space.
So you've gone from simple geometry to a mathematical equation, to the human mind, to our cities. Now for the final act. This is where the theory brings it all together into one grand, unified vision for planetary balance.
And this is probably the most expansive idea in the whole framework. The theory actually proposes that we can model the entire Earth as a dodecahedron, a 12-sided geometric solid. And in this model, ancient sites like the pyramids or Stonehenge aren't just randomly placed. They are nodes on this planetary grid, each one vibrating with a different frequency, and all of them contributing to a single global harmony.
So what ties this whole planetary grid together? What's the final piece of the puzzle? Well, according to the theory, it's us. The human heart is proposed as the 13th node, the central tuning fork. The belief is that its electromagnetic field, which mirrors the golden ratio, is what allows us to sync our own personal rhythm with the Earth's geometric field. It's how we tune ourselves into the larger system.
So, as we wrap this up, the theory leaves us with a really powerful personal question. If balance isn't some destination we arrive at, but an active rhythm, governed by these universal patterns, then it's probably worth asking yourself, what geometric pattern defines the most resonant, the most balanced rhythm in your own life? That pattern, it might just be worth listening to.